As we start studying about polity as a subject, the first thing that we come across is the concept of state. That by saying state, what does one means? What does state refers to? So, in simple words, we can say that a state is an independent authority that is made over a territory to govern over a territory. A state is an independent and a state is an independent entity over a territory in order to govern uh, the people inside the territory so that they overcome the external aggressions and work together to maintain their internal peace and order. Broadly, a state consists of four main parts, that is, a territory, population, government, and sovereignty. First, we will come to the population of a state. All the people that are residing inside the territory of that state are the population of that state on which the powers and authorities on whom the powers and authorities of that state will apply, and the state will be responsible to those people, and they will regulate, and they will they will form rules and regulations for them. Now, coming to the second part of the state, that is territory. Territory, in simple words, means that the geographical area, the extent of geographical area to which the powers of that state applies is called the territory of that state. The third, the third, the third part of the state, that was government. So, as we all know that government is that body of the state which is responsible for the making of laws, the execution of laws, and overall maintaining peace and order in the state. The government is responsible for developing the basic infrastructure in that territory, and to uplift the living standard of the population residing within the territory. Now, coming to the fourth part of that state, that is sovereignty. For any state, when it comes to power, sovereignty is the most important thing. As in simple words, sovereignty means that the state is free. The state is free to make its own decisions without any external interference. So, sovereignty is important in lawmaking, as no other country should interfere in the lawmaking of that state or country. Sovereignty, we can say that it saves you from external aggression, the evil ideas of the other countries, you can say. So now, coming back from those depths, the state, as in modern democracy, the state is governed by a government, and that government is divided into mainly three parts. First is the legislature, second is the executive, and third is the judiciary. The work of the legislature is to make laws, rules, regulations, and the legislature is responsible for the making of these laws, responsible making of these laws. The second part, that is executive, it is responsible for the application of the laws made by the legislature or the laws, rules, or regulations mentioned previously in the constitution of that country or the state. The third part, that is judiciary. The main work of the judiciary is to the main work of the judiciary is to interpret the law that was made by the parliament, or the main work of the judiciary is to interpret the laws, whether it is made by the parliament or it is mentioned in the constitution. In simple words, we can say that the judiciary is responsible for the judiciary is responsible for establishing the coherence between the laws made by the parliament and the basic structure that is mentioned in the constitution, that whether the laws made by the parliament are in consistence with the laws or rules or regulations mentioned in the constitution of that country. Some other works of the judiciary are that it is responsible for the it is responsible for resolving the issues that arises in day to day, whether it arises in day to day life of the civilians, or the issues arising between the states or the government, or the government arising between the government and the citizens, between the state government, between the union government and the state government. Basically, all the conflicts that are created between the different parts of that state are resolved by the judiciary.